Tall Tale is a Disney film from 1995. This is directed by Jeremiah S. Chechik. I apologise if I mispronounced that. And it's written by Steve Bloom and Robert Rodat. And we have a cast including Oliver Platt, Patrick Swayze, Roger Aaron Brown, and Nick Stahl. And I don't know how much of this would be a spoiler, because there are various characters that come into this, but the poster only mentions Pecos Bill. So I will mention the others with a spoiler warning in a little bit, but for now I will just talk about Pecos Bill and the role he plays in this. This is about a young boy called Daniel. At the start of the 20th century, his family's farm is under threat because somebody wants to buy out the land and they're not going to stop at anything to get it. And basically the safety of his family's farm is in Daniel's hands. And he finds himself drifting away from the farm, and he wakes up and he meets Pecos Bill. And with the help of some other characters from American folklore, and again I'll mention them in a moment, it's about trying to save the farm, and well, it's an adventure story. And it has a lot of substance. The narrative is very well written. It's very fast-paced. The action itself is very fast. Most scenes are pretty quick. But also, not just scene by scene, but also I felt like the narrative as a whole had a lot to offer in a very short space of time. The film is about an hour and a half, but it never felt rushed either. I will say it was maybe a little slow to begin with, but once the narrative began, I thought the pacing was very well done, easy to be engaged from pretty much start to finish. It's definitely a captivating story. The performances are brilliant. The characters are very likeable, particularly Daniel, and seeing some of the other characters interact was pretty incredible, actually. It was quite an experience, and I rather enjoyed it. Interesting narrative, well executed. The pacing, once it got going, was really good. We travel quite a lot of distance, so we have a lot of backgrounds, a lot of locations, and it's absolutely stunning. According to IMDb, it was filmed in Colorado and Utah, and also California. Absolutely gorgeous, a lot of beautiful places to look at, and ultimately I have no complaints. I don't know how historically accurate it is in terms of things like the costume or the language for the time period. If anybody has any thoughts on that, please feel free to share, but I'm happy. I'm happy with it. And I will now, with a spoiler warning, tell you the characters who come into this. So it's not just Pecos Bill. We also have Paul Bunyan and John Henry. Catherine O'Hara plays Calamity Jane at one point, but I really loved watching the interactions between Pecos Bill, Paul Bunyan, and John Henry. I thought that was very, very well done. Had I watched this film 3-4 years ago, I might not have enjoyed it as much, because over that time period I've watched a lot of animations. I've really dug deep into the animations of the golden era, and there are quite a few, both during that time and also after, about characters like Paul Bunyan and John Henry. So I had a decent background knowledge of the folklore, the characters, and that really helped to make it more interesting. Had I never heard of them before, it might not have been as interesting, but I still probably would have enjoyed the film. I just don't think I would have got enough out of it, or as much out of it as I did. But that being said, I liked it. I thought that Tall Tale was an interesting narrative, well executed, decent characters, great performances. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. If Tall Tale sounds like it would appeal to you, then it's one that I'd say is definitely worth checking out.